Now, have you ever heard this term that the obstacle is the way? Now, this is a term that I've heard before, and I've actually just watched a video explaining this whole, concept of how your obstacle is actually the way to your opportunity. So apparently, in the story of a hero with 1,000 faces, before that hero can actually become the hero that they will in the end, they first have to accept the call. And then once they accept the call, they have to realize that the obstacle is the way. So whatever that obstacle is that's standing in their way of, just becoming this, regular pedestrian, right, into becoming a hero, the obstacle is actually the opportunity for them to become a hero. So why do I start off with that? Well, basically because for the last 3 years in my business, basically 4 now, I've been able to make a full-time living. Now, being a freelancer is a tough gig. You do have to build everything about the mud, right? Especially when you're first building your business, right? There's a lot of things that you have to learn about your business aside from the thing that it is that you do. So essentially, I'm at this point in my business now where I'm doing pretty well. I'm able to sustain myself. But it's the whole building, it's the whole creating. That's really the fun part. Those hard times are what really get you motivated. And so looking at where I'm at now, I want to try to expand. I want to try to take it into another level and try to create some different opportunities for myself. But one of the things that I was having was a lot of obstacles. Now, maybe you've dealt with some of these obstacles yourself. And I like to believe that the best leader is a good follower and that the best teacher starts off as a good student. So if you have any comments or, suggestions that you think could help me in my journey, make sure that you feel free to leave them below. So I'm filming this video in my new office. Now, I've had this office currently now for about a month, so you can tell it's still pretty barren. I still have to move things over from my home office to get this bad boy up and running. And that's one of the journeys that I'll be taking and bringing you along with me. So let's get back to this whole concept about the obstacle being the way, right? So right now I'm at a point in my business, like I said, where I'm doing pretty well, and I'm able to sustain myself, but I want to grow and start to take it in some different directions. Now, this Veda challenge plays a part in it. As you know, if you've been following along, this is just the start, but this part plays, or this challenge plays a part in it because one of the things that I learned that was powerful over these last couple of years is having your own content, right? Or having your own product, whether that's a digital product or whether that's a physical product. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, or if you've been here before, then I have a video production company. Now, for the most part, my business is basically a service-based business, but I'm always looking for creative ways to create assets for myself, whether that be digital or physical, where I can make more income, make more revenue, and preferably more passive or residual revenue. The great thing about having a service-based business is that basically you get paid all the money right now. This is your service. You provide the service, they exchange the money, bada bing, bada boom, nice and easy. But when it comes to having an asset-based business, that's something completely different because now the money that you make is based off of the asset. So if you have a product that you sell, whether it's digital or physical, you can make money from the sale of those products and you don't have to necessarily exchange your time, as opposed to being in a service-based business where you are exchanging your time for money. So I feel like I'm ranting a little bit and I'm getting into the weeds, but this is the whole point of the conversation. The obstacle is that for the last, year or two or so, right, I've been mainly focused on the service-based side of my business because essentially that's where I make most of my income. But during that time, I've been experimenting with different ways that I can make products, especially digital products that will continue to make me passive and or residual income. Now, if you go back onto my channel, you'll see there's a couple of videos that I did talking about this concept, right? I started off with selling stock photography, and my first, passive or residual income sale was for $1.88. Fast forward about 3 years later, and last month I made $346 in passive and residual income. Now, the reason that I want to build this side up is because during the whole pandemic, right, we've seen a lot of things change. And during that time, I realized just how important or how powerful having your own content can be. So coming back to this challenge, one of the things that I want to do is continue to make my own content, right? I was able to get my YouTube channel monetized, and it's been another great source for residual income. And this all ties back into having your own product. So my obstacle right now is, how do I create more original content, right? And maybe content that's just not based around me, not just me being a talking head or being an authority figure or an expert, quote unquote, in this field of photography and video production and, being a freelancer and turning it into a full-time business. I want to be able to create more of, yes, that original content, but I also want to be able to create more original content that engages different audiences and talks about different subject matters. Now, another reason that I got this office is, as we're going back to the obstacle is the way, is that I have a home office. It's a pretty nice, pretty sweet setup, but times have changed. When I first had my home office, I could do a whole lot of work there. But as time has gone on, I've had a child. So now that introduces a whole nother element into it. And working from home, as great as it is, can still sometimes be like, it's just crazy, right? It's just too much going on and it's really hard to focus. And so I got this office, so I have a place to go work. I have a place to go focus, and I want to turn this office into somewhat of a studio. So not only can I shoot my own content here, but I can shoot different types of content here as well. Some of this will still be on the service side, right? So if I'm shooting products or, some type of commercial, I can do that with a multi-camera setup, and I'll dig into the weeds of all my gear as this challenge goes on. But in the same time, I want to have a place where I can bring creatives together and start shooting more original content. Now, the tough part about that is that even though creators do like to collab, they all like to do their own thing. So trying to bring people together and work on something collectively can sometimes be a little bit more difficult than it seems. So the question is do I bring creatives together, or do I bring people who want to be creative together and kind of give them a space? So I'm trying to blend the two worlds of having service and creating my own original content, which will be essentially a digital asset, right? That I can make money off of, repetitively, or for time to come in the future. Let's just put it that way. So that's really all I have for today's rant. I'm thinking about how the obstacle is the way and trying to figure out where I'm taking my business and the next steps that I want to take and how I want to grow it. Throughout this challenge, I will be posting videos of how the office is coming along. So if you check back in, make sure that you check some of those videos out. Also, give me some suggestions, some thoughts, and some comments. I know a lot of people on YouTube, especially in the video making space or, the graphic design space, right? The creative space, especially when you're a small creator, not like a big company that everybody wants to be a part of, but when you're a small creative, how do you find it, dealing or partnering up with people, coming together and creating something? Is the idea of it fun? And then the back end part, like the monies and the ownership and everything else, is that where things get tricky? Or is it just the fact that somebody has their vision, you have your vision, and you're trying to come together to make it work? And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. I don't know, but this is a journey that we are about to start taking. So if you stuck around for this long in the video, I want to say thank you. And as always, for all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.